In a small, quiet town, there lived a cheerful family in a tiny but cozy house. Oliver, the father, worked as a driver for a wealthy man named Caleb. His wife was a homemaker, caring for their two daughters, Tina and Margaret. Although they didn't have much, their home was filled with love and laughter. Welcome to Afro Tales TV, your home for rich, exciting, and inspiring stories from around the world. Today's story will touch your heart and keep you hooked till the very end. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our amazing stories. Tina, the eldest daughter, was 12 years old. She was a brave and strong girl who always looked out for her younger sister, Margaret. Margaret, only 6, was a cheerful and sweet child who adored Tina. Wherever Tina went, Margaret followed like a little shadow. "Mama, can we go outside to play?" Margaret asked one sunny afternoon. "Make sure you don't go too far," their mother replied, smiling as she stirred the soup on the fire. "And Tina, watch over your sister." "Yes, Mama," Tina said, holding Margaret's hand as they ran outside. The girls loved playing under the big mango tree near their house. They would laugh, climb the low branches, and imagine all sorts of adventures. Sometimes they pretended to be explorers looking for hidden treasures. Other times they were princesses in a magical kingdom. "Tina, when I grow up, I want to be just like you," Margaret said one day, her eyes sparkling with admiration. Tina laughed. "That's silly, Margaret. You'll be even better than me." "No, I won't," Margaret argued playfully. "You're the best sister in the whole world." Their games were interrupted when Oliver came home from work. His face lit up as he saw his daughters running toward him. "Papa, you're back!" Margaret shouted, throwing her arms around his legs. "Yes, my little one. How was your day?" Oliver asked, scooping her up in his arms. "It was fun. Tina and I played princesses today," Margaret said excitedly. "That's wonderful," Oliver said with a warm smile. "But have you been good for your mama?" "Yes, Papa," both girls chorused, giggling. Oliver laughed and set Margaret down. He walked into the house where his wife greeted him with a hug. "Welcome home, Oliver," she said. "You must be tired." "It's nothing I can't handle," Oliver replied, sitting down to rest. "As long as I have you and the girls, I'm happy." That evening, the family sat together for dinner. Their meal was simple, yam porridge, but they ate with joy, sharing stories and laughter. Tina told her parents about Margaret's funny antics, and Margaret tried to copy her sister's words, making everyone laugh even more. As night fell, Oliver tucked Margaret into bed while Tina lay on her mat nearby. He kissed their foreheads and whispered, "Good night, my precious girls. Sleep well." "Good night, Papa," they said together, their voices soft with sleepiness. The little house grew quiet as the family drifted off to sleep, their hearts full of love. They didn't have riches, but they had each other, and that was all they needed. Little did they know, this happiness would soon be tested in ways they could never imagine. The sun had barely risen when Oliver left for work at Caleb's mansion. It was a normal day, and he kissed his wife goodbye, promising to return home early to spend time with Tina and Margaret. The girls waved from the doorway, shouting, "Bye, Papa, come back soon." At Caleb's grand mansion, everything seemed ordinary until late in the afternoon. Suddenly, smoke began to fill the air. Flames erupted from the kitchen, spreading rapidly through the luxurious house. Servants screamed and ran in every direction, trying to save whatever they could. Oliver was in the garage cleaning Caleb's car when he heard the shouts. He rushed outside and saw the flames swallowing the mansion. "Help! Someone help us!" a voice cried from inside. Oliver didn't think twice. He ran into the house, covering his nose with his hand to block the thick smoke. Inside, chaos reigned. He spotted Caleb's frightened wife struggling to carry a small box filled with important papers. "Girls, come wash up. Your papa will be home soon," she said, smiling. Just as they were settling in, there was a loud knock on the door. Their mother opened it to find Caleb standing there, his face pale and filled with sorrow. "What happened?" she asked, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry, Caleb said, his voice heavy. There was a fire. Oliver didn't make it. The words hit her like a thunderbolt. Her legs gave way and she collapsed on the floor, wailing. Tina and Maigret stood frozen, unable to process what they had just heard. No, it's not true, Tina shouted, tears streaming down her face. Papa can't be gone. Maigret clung to her sister, sobbing. Where is Papa? When is he coming back? Their mother held them tightly, her tears soaking their hair. Your papa is with God now, she whispered, though her heart felt like it was shattering into pieces. That night, the once lively house was silent. Tina sat awake, staring at the empty chair where Oliver used to sit. Maigret, still too young to understand fully, asked again and again, when will Papa come back? Tina could only hug her and say, He's in heaven, Maigret. He'll always watch over us. But deep inside, Tina's heart was breaking. She felt a weight she had never known before, the fear of a future without her father. Little did they know, their struggles were only beginning. Madam, leave it! You need to get out now! Oliver shouted. No, these are Caleb's documents, she argued. Oliver grabbed the box and shoved it into her hands. Go, now! I'll get the others. The fire grew fiercer, roaring like an angry beast. Oliver tried to grab some other valuables but found himself surrounded by smoke and flames. As he searched for a way out, a beam from the ceiling came crashing down, blocking his path. He coughed, gasping for air as the fire closed in on him. Outside, Caleb arrived just in time to see the fire consume his mansion. His wife and staff were already outside, coughing and crying. Where's Oliver? Caleb asked desperately. He went back in to help, someone answered. Caleb's heart sank as he stared at the blazing house. The fire was too strong now. There was no way anyone could survive inside. Back at home, Tina and Maigret were playing near the mango tree when their mother called them inside. The days after Oliver's death were filled with sadness and uncertainty. Tina, Maigret, and their mother tried to hold on, but life without Oliver was hard. He had been their rock, and now everything seemed to fall apart. Their mother, overwhelmed with grief, spent most of her time crying. Her strength began to fade, and soon she became too weak to care for Tina and Maigret properly. Mama, you need to eat, Tina said one evening, bringing a bowl of watery soup to her mother's bedside. I'm not hungry, my child, their mother whispered, her voice faint. I just need to rest. Tina bit her lip, trying to be brave. She couldn't let Maigret see her cry. You'll feel better soon, Mama. I'll take care of everything. Maigret sat quietly by their mother's side, clutching her small doll. Mama, are you sick because Papa is in heaven? She asked innocently. Their mother managed a weak smile. Yes, my sweet girl, but don't worry. God will take care of us. After the burial, a kind neighbor named Auntie Grace approached the girls. Tina, Maigret, I know this is hard, but I've spoken to your relatives in the city. They've agreed to take you in. You'll have a new home. Tina's heart ached at the thought of leaving the only home they'd ever known, but she nodded. As long as we're together, we'll be okay, she said, looking down at Maigret, who clung to her hand. The following day, Auntie Grace took them to the bus terminal. The station was crowded with people rushing to catch their buses. Tina held Maigret's hand tightly as they waited. Don't let go, okay? Tina said, her voice firm. Stay close to me. I won't, Tina, Maigret replied, gripping her sister's hand as tightly as she could. But as the crowd grew thicker, people pushed and jostled them. Tina tried to keep hold of Maigret, but someone bumped into her hard, breaking their grip. Tina, Maigret cried, her small hand slipping away. Maigret, Tina screamed, spinning around desperately, but the crowd was too thick and Maigret had disappeared. Tina ran through the terminal, shouting her sister's name. Maigret, where are you? Tears blurred her vision as she searched every corner, but Maigret was nowhere to be found. Hours later, Tina collapsed on the side of the road, exhausted and sobbing. A poor family passing by noticed her and stopped. Are you lost, child? The woman asked gently. I lost my sister, Tina whispered, her voice choked with tears. The woman exchanged a look with her husband. Come with us. We'll help you, she said. Tina hesitated, her heart breaking at the thought of leaving without Maigret. But she had no choice. She followed the family, her heart heavy with grief and worry. Meanwhile, Maigret wandered aimlessly through the bustling terminal, crying for her sister. A cruel-looking couple spotted her and approached. Are you lost, little girl? The woman asked, feigning concern. Maigret sniffled. I can't find my sister. Don't worry, you can come with us, the man said, taking her hand. But their intentions were far from kind. They saw an opportunity to use Maigret as cheap labor. As Maigret was led away, she clutched her doll tightly, tears streaming down her face. She whispered, Tina, where are you? The sisters were now separated, each facing an uncertain and difficult future. But in their hearts, they held on to the hope that one day they would find each other again. Despite Tina's best efforts, their mother grew weaker every day. One cold, quiet night, as Tina and Maigret slept beside her, their mother passed away peacefully. Tina woke up to find her mother's hand cold in hers. She shook her gently. Mama, wake up, Tina whispered, her voice trembling, but their mother didn't respond. Realizing the truth, Tina's heart broke into a million pieces. Tears streamed down her face as she clung to Maigret. She's gone, Tina whispered, her voice shaking. Mama's gone. Maigret's eyes widened in shock. No, she can't leave us too, she cried, throwing herself onto their mother's still body. Tina held her tightly, both of them sobbing uncontrollably. The next few days were a blur. Kind neighbors helped arrange a simple burial. Tina and Maigret stood by their mother's grave, holding hands as tears rolled down their cheeks. They felt completely alone in the world. The poor family who took Tina in lived in a cramped, tiny house at the edge of the town. The father was a cobbler, fixing old shoes for a small income, while the mother sold roasted corn by the roadside. They had 3 children of their own, and while they were kind, it was clear they struggled to make ends meet. You'll sleep here, the mother, Mama Nkechi, said, pointing to a small mat on the floor. It's not much, but it's all we have. Thank you, Tina whispered, clutching her small bag of belongings. Her heart was heavy with worry for Maigret, but she didn't want to appear ungrateful. The next morning, Tina woke up to the sound of Mama Nkechi's voice. Tina, wake up, it's time to fetch water. Tina rubbed her eyes and got up quickly. Yes, Mama, she said. She followed Mama Nkechi and the children to the community well, carrying a heavy bucket on her head, just like the others. I'll find you one day, Maigret, Tina whispered to herself. I promise. Meanwhile, life for Maigret was much worse. The cruel couple who had taken her in forced her to sell snacks on the streets. They gave her little to eat and made her work from morning till night. Get up, girl, the woman barked one morning, throwing a piece of bread at Maigret. You're already late for the market. Maigret hurriedly grabbed her basket of goods and ran out to the busy street corner. She spent her days crying silently as she called out, "Snacks for sale! Buy some bread and ground nuts." Some days, kind strangers gave her a few coins or a smile, but most people ignored her. Despite the cruelty of her new guardians, Maigret held on to hope. She clutched the small, worn-out doll Tina had given her before they were separated, drawing strength from it. "Tina, I miss you," Maigret whispered to the doll one evening after a long day of work. "I hope you're okay." Back in Tina's new home, she tried to adjust to her new life. She worked hard during the day and helped Mama Nkechi sell corn in the evenings. The family's kindness gave her some comfort, but nothing could fill the hole in her heart where Maigret belonged. One day, as Tina swept the yard, she overheard the cobbler talking to a neighbor. "I heard about a girl selling bread on the streets," the neighbor said. She looked lost, like she didn't belong there. Tina's ears perked up. "A girl selling bread? Where did you see her?" The neighbor looked at Tina, surprised. "Oh, in the city, near the main market." Tina's heart raced. Could it be Maigret? The thought of her sister struggling alone in the city filled her with determination. She clenched her fists, a spark of hope igniting within her. "I'll find you, Maigret," she thought. "No matter how hard it is, I'll find you." Life in her new home was hard. Tina helped with chores from sunrise to sunset. She swept the yard, washed clothes, and helped Mama and Kechi roast corn. She often felt exhausted, but she never complained. She knew she was lucky to have a roof over her head. "Tina, you're a good girl," Mama and Kechi said one evening as they sat by the fire. "I know you miss your family, but you have to stay strong. Life can be hard, but God sees everything." Tina nodded, her eyes shining with tears. "I just miss my sister, Maigret," she said quietly. "I promised to protect her, but now I don't even know if she's safe." Mama and Kechi placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Don't lose hope. If it's God's will, you'll see her again." Despite Mama and Kechi's kind words, Tina couldn't help but feel a growing emptiness in her heart. Every night she lay awake, staring at the ceiling and wondering where Maigret was. Was she safe? Was she scared? Did she have someone to take care of her? Maigret's days were long and painful. The cruel couple who had taken her in didn't care about her well-being. Every morning the woman would shove a basket of snacks into her hands and send her to the crowded streets. "Sell everything, and don't you dare come back with anything left," the woman would yell, her sharp voice cutting through the air. "Yes, ma'am," Maigret would reply softly, clutching her basket and stepping out into the busy street. She walked through the market, calling out in her small voice, "Snacks for sale! Buy bread and groundnuts!" The city was noisy and chaotic, with people hurrying about their business. Maigret's tiny frame often got lost in the sea of adults. Some days kind strangers would buy her snacks or give her a coin or two. Other days, she was ignored or yelled at for getting in the way. One evening, after a long day, Maigret returned home with her basket half empty. The man who took care of collecting her earnings counted the money and frowned. Maigret looked at her basket, knowing she'd be punished if she gave anything away, but the sight of the boy's desperate eyes tugged at her heart. She reached into the basket and handed him a piece of bread. "Here," she said softly, "eat this." The boy's face lit up with joy. "Thank you. You're very kind," he exclaimed before running off. Maigret felt a warmth in her heart, but her act of kindness didn't go unnoticed. That evening, when she returned home, the woman noticed the missing bread. "Where's the rest of the bread?" she demanded, glaring at Maigret. I gave it to a hungry boy," Maigret admitted, her voice barely a whisper. The woman's face twisted with anger. "How dare you give away what isn't yours, foolish girl!" she shouted, grabbing a stick and striking Maigret's legs. "Next time, think before you act." Maigret cried silently, clutching her doll as the pain seared through her body. But even as she suffered, she didn't regret helping the boy. Tina would have done the same, she thought to herself. Meanwhile, Tina's life was improving slightly. The family who took her in continued to show her kindness. She worked hard and helped them with their small business. But no matter how busy she was, she never stopped thinking about Maigret. One evening, as Tina and Mama and Kechi roasted corn by the roadside, Tina shared her thoughts. "Mama and Kechi, do you think I'll ever find Maigret?" Tina asked, her voice filled with sadness. Mama and Kechi sighed, her eyes kind but weary. "I believe you will, Tina. God has a way of bringing loved ones back together." Tina nodded, wiping away a tear. She had to stay strong for Maigret's sake. Maigret, on the other hand, was beginning to lose hope. She often dreamed of Tina coming to rescue her, but every time she woke up, she was still trapped in her cruel reality. Yet, even in her darkest moments, she held on to the small doll and whispered, "I'll find you, Tina. I know I will." Though separated by miles, the bond between the sisters remained strong, giving them both the strength to endure their struggles. "This is all you made?" he barked, slamming the coins onto the table. I tried my best," Maigret stammered, her voice trembling. "The market wasn't busy today." "Lazy girl," the woman snapped. Maybe you need to go without dinner tonight so you'll learn to work harder. Magrette's stomach growled as the woman snatched the bread from her hands, leaving her with nothing to eat. She crawled to her corner of the room and hugged her small doll tightly. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, "Tina, where are you? I need you." While Magrette endured this harsh treatment, her kind heart never wavered. One day, a young boy approached her as she sold snacks on the street. He looked thin and hungry, his clothes torn and dirty. "Excuse me," he said shyly. "I don't have any money, but I'm very hungry. Can I have something to eat?" Months had passed since Tina had been separated from Magrette, and not a day went by without her thinking of her little sister. Although life with Mama Nkechi's family was tough, Tina's determination to find Magrette only grew stronger. One evening, as Tina helped Mama Nkechi roast corn by the roadside, she overheard a conversation between two women. "Did you see that poor little girl selling snacks near the market? She looks so sad, always clutching a doll," one woman said. Tina's heart skipped a beat. She quickly turned to them. "Excuse me," she interrupted, her voice trembling. "Did you say a little girl with a doll?" The woman nodded. "Yes, she's always at the main market selling bread and groundnuts. She looks lost, poor thing." "Do you know her name?" Tina asked urgently. The women shook their heads. "No, but she's there most days. Why do you ask?" Tina took a deep breath. I think she's my sister." Mama Nkechi sighed deeply, wiping her hands on her wrapper. "Tina, you have a brave heart. I'll ask my husband if he can take you on his bicycle tomorrow morning." Tina's face lit up with hope. "Thank you, Mama Nkechi. Thank you so much." Meanwhile, Magrette's days were getting harder. The cruel couple pushed her to sell more and more, barely giving her time to rest. Her small hands were blistered from carrying heavy baskets, and her legs ached from standing all day. But even in her pain, she clung to the doll Tina had given her. One evening, as she sat on the roadside after a long day, a small boy approached her. It was the same boy she had given bread to weeks ago. "Hello," he said with a shy smile. "I never got to thank you properly for helping me." Magrette managed a weak smile. "You're welcome." The boy looked at her closely. "Why do you always look so sad?" Magrette's eyes filled with tears. "I miss my sister. We got separated and I don't know where she is." The boy nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe one day you'll find her." Magrette wiped her tears and nodded. "I hope so." The next morning, Tina woke up before dawn, her heart pounding with anticipation. Mama Nkechi's husband had agreed to take her to the market on his bicycle. "Be careful, Tina," Mama Nkechi said, tying a scarf around Tina's head to keep her hair neat. "And don't wander off alone." "I'll be fine, Mama Nkechi," Tina replied. "Thank you for everything." The ride to the market felt like an eternity. Tina scanned the busy streets as they approached, her eyes darting from one corner to another. When they arrived, she jumped off the bicycle and ran into the crowd. "Magrette," she called, her voice trembling. "Magrette, where are you?" The market was bustling with vendors shouting about their goods and customers bargaining for better prices. Tina's voice was drowned out by the noise. She searched every stall, every corner, her heart sinking with every passing minute. Just as she was about to give up, she spotted a small girl sitting on a wooden crate, holding a basket of bread and ground nuts. Tina froze. The girl's hair was messy, and her face was tired, but Tina recognized her instantly. "Magrette!" Tina shouted, running toward her. The girl looked up, startled. Her eyes widened as recognition dawned on her face. "Tina?" They ran toward each other and embraced tightly, tears streaming down their faces. "I thought I'd never see you again," Magrette sobbed, clutching her sister. "I promised I'd find you," Tina whispered, her voice breaking. "And I'll never let you go again." The moment was interrupted by the woman who had taken Magrette in. She stormed over, her face twisted with anger. "What do you think you're doing? That girl belongs to me." Tina stood protectively in front of Magrette. "She's my sister, and she's coming with me," The woman lunged toward Maigret, but a group of bystanders intervened. "Leave the girls alone," one man shouted. "You've no right to keep her." Realizing she was outnumbered, the woman sneered and walked away. Tina held Maigret close, tears of relief streaming down her face. "You're safe now, Maigret," Tina said. "I'll take care of you, just like I promised." Together the sisters walked back toward the bicycle, ready to start a new chapter in their lives, this time together. The women exchanged surprised looks but didn't press further. Tina's mind was racing. Could it really be Maigret? She had to find out. That night, Tina couldn't sleep. She lay on her mat, staring at the ceiling and clutching the thin blanket Mama Nkechi had given her. Memories of Maigret flooded her mind, her sweet smile, her laughter, and how she always followed Tina everywhere. "I'll find you, Maigret," Tina whispered into the dark. "I promise." The next morning, Tina approached Mama Nkechi with a determined look on her face. "Mama Nkechi, I need your help." Mama Nkechi paused from kneading dough for akara and looked up. "What is it, Tina?" "I think I know where Maigret is," Tina said, her voice steady. "She might be at the main market selling snacks." Mama Nkechi's eyes widened. "Are you sure? That market is crowded and dangerous for a young girl." "I have to try," Tina said. "Please, Mama Nkechi, I'll do anything to get there." Mama Nkechi sighed deeply, wiping her hands on her wrapper. "Tina, you have a brave heart. I'll ask my husband if he can take you on his bicycle tomorrow morning." Tina's face lit up with hope. "Thank you, Mama Nkechi. Thank you so much." Meanwhile, Maigret's days were getting harder. The cruel couple pushed her to sell more and more, barely giving her time to rest. Her small hands were blistered from carrying heavy baskets, and her legs ached from standing all day. But even in her pain, she clung to the doll Tina had given her. One evening, as she sat on the roadside after a long day, a small boy approached her. It was the same boy she had given bread 2 weeks ago. "Hello," he said with a shy smile. "I never got to thank you properly for helping me." Maigret managed a weak smile. "You're welcome." The boy looked at her closely. "Why do you always look so sad?" Maigret's eyes filled with tears. "I miss my sister. We got separated and I don't know where she is." The boy nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe one day you'll find her." Maigret wiped her tears and nodded. "I hope so."